Hello, I know that I'm a little early, so I'm just wanting to make sure before 10 that people can see me. That's all I'm waiting for. If you are there, please let me know that you are here by commenting. Yay! Okay, so we are a couple of minutes early. Oh, look, Robin, you're the first. This is Wellesley. Look, here he is. my crazy boy who is going to want to be the center of attention throughout this whole thing. So, and oh, Dan. Hello, Dan. This is awesome. So we'll give it a couple of minutes before we get into the meat of everything, even though it is a school day for those of us who work. Well, I'm retired, so and so not everybody's going to be able to participate at 10 a.m. But anyway, let's see what time it is. 10 o'clock. Oh my goodness, look at all the people. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so privileged. I really am. I'm a privileged person to have so many people in our lives who are so passionate and caring about this little family over here. So let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Patches is right here. When I get a few more people on board, I will pick up Patches, and you can see that he's still a hefty boy, but he's come such a long way. Hi, Sandy. I am here. Hi. I love it. I just love your comments. I really do. You have no idea how often I sit here and read your comments and start cracking up laughing because so many of them are just priceless. You all keep me very happy and focused and laughing. And in addition to that, you all keep me just, so grounded and humble, and it's just magical. I can't even begin to tell you. It's absolutely magical to have so many folks interested in what you're doing with your cat. So, all right, well, I think that what I'm going to do first is I'm going to answer the questions. I did get a few questions from folks, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is answer those questions because they'll be quick. Because once I get into the obesity and cats business, it's, Katie bar the door. So, so I had a question about Silencia, and I'm really glad that that question was asked because we have talked about it, and I'm sure that she was not the only one who was interested in knowing if we are on Silencia. And I'm the kind of person who believes that you take meds if you really need them. And we have seen no physical evidence that that Patches is suffering, so I'm going to hold off if I start to see that. And just because he's losing weight doesn't mean that we're not going to start to see evidence in his joints that he's in pain, because he did carry around that weight for a good while, so there's probably every likelihood that if he doesn't already have arthritis that he will develop it. So we're just taking that one day at a time. And then I had someone else who asked me if Patches had ever had any breathing problems, and boy am I lucky that I can say no. And I'm terribly sorry. The follower had said that they had some experience with with some larger pets that had as a result of their expanded girth, did have some difficulty with breathing, and I wish that I could address that, but that's not an issue that we have talked about. So all of the other questions that have been asked are all diet related, so we're going to get into that for sure. But just quickly, I just wanted to address the question of Christmas decorations. I think that most people probably have everything up, probably had it up before Thanksgiving, maybe even before Halloween. Maybe people have trees up all year long, and I appreciate that. I love Christmas decorations. There's no question about it, and I have some of the most beautiful, memorable, treasured ornaments that were made by my grandmother, and I'm a grandmother, so that was a long time ago, that are just really incredibly special to me. However, this guy right here, this is going to be my second Christmas with him. And last year I put up my tree that was pre-lit. I can't take the lights off. Beautiful tree. And he climbed it, and I was so afraid that if I left, that he was going to come home and he was going to be a dangling Christmas ornament. And I don't say that to be funny. I say that to be like that would be the worst catastrophe. And so for his safety, I'm not putting those up. And, oh, well, what about stockings? Well, they will have stockings that will be hidden until Christmas morning and then promptly put away. Because this guy right here, that first Christmas, I had the stockings hanging from the little hooks on the mantle, and he got up on the mantle. And if you've seen any of my pictures, I mean, my mantle is covered with stuff. Why? So that he won't get up there and knock stuff over. So I guess I could have nothing up there. That's a thought, you know. But anyway, mantles are meant to have things like candlesticks or something, you know, on them. But anyway, he literally got up there and he took his little paw and he disengaged the little hook, the little, you know, loop from the hook, and, you know, they're on the floor. So I say, what's the point? I do have a wreath on my door, so that's about as far as it's going to go. And let's see, we'll talk about Facebook afterwards. So I guess we're ready for the discussion of obesity in cats. Well, as my family and friends know, I am a storyteller, so I'm going to tell you right up front, sorry. I'll try to make it short and to the point. As many of you know, my daughter runs a page called Prayers for Finn, and she's absolutely amazing. Finn and Kelly are actually right now up at CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, having his annual complete rundown with every doctor known to man. It's an important time, but it's I don't know, it's just a time that, I mean, I don't get nervous about it, but I just hate that Finn has to go through this. Sadly, life is not always fair. But anyway, I am the grandmother of a medically fragile child. And I'm going to tell you that, and I promise it's totally related. I'm going to tell you that one of the most important things that I have learned through the entire process with Finn is the importance of advocating with medical professionals. Do medical professionals want to screw up? No. Do they want things to work out? Yes, whether it's for humans or whether it's for your pets. One has to advocate. You have to advocate. There was a time in Finn's world where it just felt like when he was in the hospital, almost the entire first year of his life, and there was a time when it just felt like he was like a guinea pig, and they were trying everything on him, this and that and the other thing. No one knows her son. No one knows Finn better than Kelly. No one knows your cat or your dog or your bearded dragon or your rabbit. No one knows them better than you. So Kelly advocated for him, told them to stop. Stop everything. Right now, I need to give him a week. And as his parent, she has every right to do that. So as it turns out, that was the beginning of the opportunity for him, his little body to heal. And it wasn't maybe 6 weeks later that he actually came home from the hospital after months of being there. So I said all that to say this, that when I receive messages from folks, and they're Patches and it really is fun to be in this house, especially when Patches and Wellesley decide to wrestle, as brothers will do. So anyway, I get messages all the time, private messages, about what am I feeding him? How am I doing this? How do I know if my cat is obese? How do I know if, if I need to do something? Well, you can imagine. So I get these messages, but there's a lot missing. Like, have you asked about blood work? Has your cat had blood work recently? The first thing you need to do with a cat is to rule out, and I'll speak of cats because, but this is for dogs too. You've got to rule out that there's a medical reason why your cat is doing whatever it's doing, whether it's thyroid or whether it's, diabetes or pre-diabetes, or there's also something that Dr. Megan, and I'm not going to go there, but there is actually a genetic disorder that cats can have. It's extremely rare, where they are just predisposed to, to just eating, and that has to be managed, I guess, through, medical intervention of some kind. So we won't go there, but it could be that. So the first thing you need to do is you've got to make sure that there's nothing else going on, and it's going to involve getting blood work. The other thing about having the blood work is that then you have a baseline. If something starts to go south, if your cat is starting to exhibit symptoms of, whatever, or, that it's just not germane to their typical personality, that when you go in there, when they do more blood work, they're going to be able to look at that baseline and see if there is an issue. It's like, blood work is the DNA. It's like being able to see what's going on in there, and hopefully being able to find out what the problem is through the blood. Yes, sometimes, it's going to have to go farther than that, but I think we all just need to be prepared to do that. So get your baseline blood work done. What prompted me to do this live was, and when I say I got fired up, I wasn't worried about whether or not I was going to be okay on this live. I'm totally okay with doing it. I just worry I might be talking too much for you all, but I'm not worried about that. I was fired up because I was having a back and forth with a follower, and I was getting that sense that the vet was not helping her with her situation. And so now we go back to advocating for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself, and for your pet, for your voiceless pet. You know them better. Ask the questions. Don't let them walk out of the room. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of their knowledge. They're humans just like us, so we can't give them necessarily all power without the information that they need in order to be able to assess the situation. You've got to be, write down a list. Here are the issues. Here are the concerns that I have. And when it comes to weight, if your vet tells you that your cat needs to lose weight, then they need to tell you how. Everything with patches, everything associated with patches, it's all calorie. It's all calorie based. And he has the Friskies, and the reason why he's on Friskies and not an expensive prescription food is that there's nothing in his health chart that says that he needs to go in a different direction. So we don't need to do prescription for him. And I tried 3 different off-the-shelf foods for him, and this was the one that he liked, because it's important that they eat. They have to eat. If a cat doesn't eat, or if they lose weight too fast, because we get them to lose weight too fast, they can develop fatty liver disease, and it's very difficult to come back from that. So we don't want to be causing problems. We want to be solving the problems. So I want to show you something. So since it's calorie related, there are 180 calories in this whole can. And I believe, I could not find the little piece of paper that Dr. Megan gave me. I should have been more prepared. But a cat, because I remember going, what? because, you know, humans are supposed to have, you know, we're supposed to be able to survive off of 2,000 calories. So I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be 400 or 500 or 600 calories for a cat. No, 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 no. For a normal sized cat, it's somewhere in the 2 to 250 or maybe 220 range that they should be having a whole day. So if, talk to your vet. So if this whole can is 180 calories and your cat is having 2 cans a day, that's 360 calories. No wonder they're plump. Pleasantly plump. Now the other thing is that I was asked what kind of dry kibble. I like for Patches to actually have something that he likes. So, and he does like his kibble. And I kid you not. So anyway, so this is what we use. This is Science Diet. It's not a prescription. It's a off the shelf, and it's called 6-in-1. I have no idea what that means. Doesn't matter. Oh, Bella, don't turn me off. Don't. Anyway, but he gets the equivalent of oh look at you, Bella. So, she wants a little bit of the limelight. Patches is over there going, what about me? What about me? Anyway, so this bag, did you see that? In this, 502 calories a cup. Oh, here he is. 502 calories a cup. Okay, so if you're free feeding and you put a cup of cat food out, you know, for one cat, and they finish it in the course of a day. Oh God, don't turn it off. Don't turn it off. Okay, hold on. Okay, all right. Oh. Okay, here's my boy. Oh, looky there. There you see, he's still big. It just takes, you know, being. Here he is. Here. It's like amazing to me when I see it, you know, how big he is. And just imagine, he used to weigh 10 pounds more. Isn't that crazy? So again, if you are feeding them, you know, leaving that out and the whole free feeding thing, I understand that it's difficult. I understand that it's difficult. Gosh, I'm lucky. I do attribute a lot of Patch's success to the fact that I'm retired. I do have a very active life, though. I'm not always home all the time. And so sometimes I have to adjust, and sometimes he doesn't get his 5 little meals a day. If I know that I'm going to be gone, then he might get 3 bigger meals a day, but it's still going to be at that calorie count. So to my way of thinking, the most important thing for you to do is, you know, literally, metaphorically, when you're in that meeting with your vet, you need to stand up against the door like this and go, you're not leaving, metaphorically, until, you know, we talk about a plan. And then I suggest a calorie count plan. I mean, that's just what I know, and I know that's worked for Patches. I know many of you have multiple cats, and I can assure you that Wellesley and Bella both would eat all of Patch's food if I allowed that to happen. And so they have 3 separate places in 3 separate parts of the house where they eat, and they eat at the same time. You know, Bella and Wellesley don't eat 5 times a day, but they do, when they do eat, it's at a scheduled time at the same time with Patches, so that I am taking that time to be there and to be able to pick up the bowl or the plate when it's over. So anyway, so Patches, his calorie count is based on what is appropriate for a 20-pound cat. He's still not anywhere close to 20 pounds. He's closer, but not there. So that's why I don't get too involved with this stuff, is because I'm afraid that somebody who maybe doesn't see a live like this, or is just reading or just skimming the information that I'm sharing, is going to do this for a cat that's 17 pounds that needs to lose 3 pounds. But if they're 17 and they follow Patch's exact amount, they're going to gain weight, because his calorie count is based on that, what would be healthy for a 20-pound cat. Okay? So once he gets down to 20 pounds, that's when we will reassess and determine at that point. And I hope he's not listening. His calorie count's going to go down. Uh-oh. But it's going to. I understand the frustration with the meowing, and I mean, I do. I totally understand. I'm very lucky because Patches isn't crazy about that kind of stuff, but but honestly, the longer I've had him and the more his weight has gone down, the more I have seen his desire to eat, his food-driven mechanism increase. So he is meowing more. He is letting me know by sitting next to where his bowl should be, and telling me, I'm ready to eat. If I so much as walk into the kitchen, he follows me. So, anyway, so bottom line is calorie counting and advocate. Ask the vet. Ask them how many calories. Okay, if you're going to tell me that my cat needs to, nicely. Okay, so Puff needs to lose 3 pounds. Do you, please give me, not do you have any, please give me some suggestions. Should I be doing calorie count? Do you have any suggestions for food? Tell them you need to know. And one other thing. When you see calorie count on a can or a bag, it's going to say kcal. I've already done the research for you. It's the same thing as cal. So we're used to, calories. Well, kcal is the same thing. I don't know why they do it. It's probably like, the metric system or something. But anyway, if it says that this is 180 kcals per can, then, and you need to make sure that you really, because it also tells you that there's like 1,156 calories, and I do believe that means, for the entire case. I'm not sure. I don't even know why there's that, but anyway, it's 180 calories per can. And then Patches, because he likes kibble, I got off on a tangent, because he likes kibble, I fill up 1 tablespoon of kibble every morning, and then I take that tablespoon and then I will dribble 2 or 3 kibbles on his wet food. Oh, okay, so people want to know the difference between wet and dry food. Wet food typically has a lot less calories and a lot less carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are not good for a cat that you want to lose weight. And also, I want to make sure that if you're watching this and you have a cat that does not need to lose weight, just don't even worry about what you're feeding them. If they're 6 years old and they've never had an issue, it doesn't matter. It's fine. And I'm not here to diss any food or food brand, period, because it is better for a cat to eat than to not eat. I mean, it is. It just is. They need to eat, so it doesn't matter whether it's, the big 795-pound bag of generic cat food that you get at Costco. If your cat is fine, then fine. Don't even worry about it. So it's fine. But, if they're overweight and your vet is telling you need to lose weight, then I wouldn't I'm just going to say it like it is. You've got to demand it. I'm so lucky I haven't had to demand anything from Dr. Megan. So you just march right on in there and just say, I need your help. Puff needs your help. Please help me. But here's the key to the whole thing. The key to the whole thing. You have to be diligent. It's all up to you at the end of the day. So, the cat can't make those decisions. You can make those decisions. And then you just get yourself a leather strap to bite on, or go into another room, or, as I've said many, many times, when I am dealing with, whether it's Wellesley or Patches or Bella, they all want food. Domesticated animals are pretty much all food driven. If they're ever, begging me, then I either play with them, because usually 5 minutes of play will kind of do it. They're satisfied, usually. Or when they are being particularly persistent, then I just look at them, and I didn't do it right away. I was not able to do this right away, but I have trained myself to hear them say, help me. Instead of, I'm desperate and I'm starving, I'll stop if you give me a handful of kibble. I hear them say, help me. So I really do wish that I like this. I'm looking, Lisa says, I need a leather strap. Everybody needs a leather strap. How often do you feed Patches? Oh, okay. All right. We're going to talk about Facebook in just a second, but another way when you have an overweight cat to, another way to help is to break down their meals over time. So Patches eats 5 times a day. He eats when I get up, along with the other 2. He has a snack at 10. He eats at 2. He eats at 5, and then he eats again at 9 before he goes to bed. It's not always that, my schedule is not at all like that. So it is as much as I can humanly possibly make it that's what I do. If I have to switch it around a little bit, or if I know that I'm not going to be there for a 2 o'clock feeding, then he gets more at 10, half more at 10 and half more again at 5. If I'm going to be gone longer than that, to be perfectly honest with you, I have been known to call Rebecca and just say, look, can you come over and feed him at 10? As a matter of fact, I need to call her because I'm probably going to need to do that next week. So anyway, and I'm lucky that I have a wonderful, pet sitter to do that, but, you can manage these things. They're not going to die if you just take the calorie count and spread it out differently on a particular day. They'll be fine. But like I said, it's all about calorie count. And somebody asked me about the raised platform. All right, so Patches used to lie down and eat, and so imagine having Thanksgiving dinner lying in your bed, and what a number that would do on your digestive system. So he really didn't have the strength in the very beginning to stay up, so he might have, when we got the platform from a dear follower, thank you again so much for that, then, maybe there was one meal, or like a half a meal, and then he would lie down, and then I would have to switch it out. Now he can do the whole meal on the platform. So now that he can stand, and so now you might be thinking, well, what about he's standing? Why can't it just be on the floor? Well, imagine standing at the dining room table. Again, for Thanksgiving dinner, you're standing at the dining room table, and the table itself represents the floor, okay? So if you're not sitting down and you're like this, that's the way to do it, not lying down, but like sitting down. If you don't have that table, if you don't have that platform, it's like literally standing at the dining room table and leaning over and eating from the plate. So that's not good either. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure. And I know I'm probably all over the place. I really worked very hard beforehand not to be this scattered, but I guess you could say I'm just doing the best I can. So anyway, so that's the stuff about feeding. So let me see if there's any other questions before I get into Facebook. Advocate. Ask the questions of your vet. That's really what I came on here to say. Don't be afraid of them. I don't mean like, oh my gosh, they're going to be mad at me. It's your job. It's your job to make sure that they are spoken for and that you ask them, please tell me. I wish, honestly, that as long as there was nothing medically wrong with the cat and they just got fat, look at me, over the holiday, not the holidays, over COVID, I'd done so good. I was just so, such a good looking, not really, but I was doing so good before COVID. I was doing so good. And then I'm just like cooking for everybody. It happens, people. It happens. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It just happens, whether it's your cat, you, anybody, but we have choices, and we can turn things around. So if there's nothing medically wrong with the cat, I do wish that vets would say, look, your cat's 17 pounds. I'd like to see him down to 12. We're going to do this over time, and then just hand you a piece of paper that says, here's the calorie count, however you can do this, and then here are some recommended foods. End of discussion. Why is that so hard? I don't know why it's so hard. That's why I was fired up. And I recently got an email from someone who was like, you know, that they kind of feel like they're being chastised. First, because the cat is fat. And then secondly, you know, for asking how to get them right. And I'm like, oh gosh, it just irritates me to death. So if your vet, if your vet is not willing to be a partner with you, as long as you do your job and don't go back in there and say to the vet, I did everything that you said and he hasn't lost any weight. No, we have to take accountability ourselves, you know? You just have to. I've made very poor choices. I made the grand announcement from the very beginning, I'm going to lose weight with patches. You know, I'm going to do it. Have I? No, that's me. That's all on me, and I take full responsibility for it, but I still have until April the 19th to do it. Because I said I was going to lose 20 pounds in a year, so I still have until April the 19th. So my best advice to you is to advocate, to ask the questions, take notes, and just don't be afraid to ask. What do I do? How do I do this? And then remember, it's on you to follow through. And don't be afraid when you go back in. I know it's hard. When you get started, it's really, really hard. So when you go back into the vet, gosh, it was really hard. And if it's like, 6 weeks down the road, don't be afraid to let them know. Is there something else that I can do? But just be an advocate. Be an advocate and don't be afraid to talk to people. Okay, so I have talked long enough about that. I want to tell you a little bit about Facebook. I just want to remind everybody that I do get messages all the time. Was there a weigh-in Wednesday? I didn't see it. Well, Facebook has this funky algorithm, and you got to remember that Facebook is run by algorithms. Your feed, your news feed, which is probably what most of us use, is our news feed. And just because you're a follower and just because you're a top fan of Patches doesn't mean that Facebook, in its infinite wisdom, is going to shoot every single post to your news feed, because it's based on things that you interact with. You might have never interacted at all, and then you interacted about Bella. Oh my gosh, it's so great to see Bella on Patch's page. And then all of a sudden, Facebook is like all over, okay, well, we're going to send you all the pictures of Bella, if that makes sense. So you need to frequently go, if you are so inclined, to our home page. Just go to Patch's Journey. You can scroll down all the way to the very beginning. Everything you could humanly possibly know about Patches is all right there. And then when you scroll down, I got a picture. There you go. Okay. So this is what I took a picture from my phone. Okay. So down here, there's this thing called features. Okay. And you're going to see here everything you could humanly possibly know about Patch's diet. So even though I've been kind of all over the place, you can still go back to that and see it on our page. But one thing to tell you about that, I have 3 featured posts. I've got Patches and his diet and healthcare plan. I've got answers to frequently asked questions. And over here, I've got some updates on the merch store and stuff like that. These go sideways. So if you start here, if you're on your computer, there will be a little arrow that looks like that, and you just click the arrow, and it'll go this way instead of this way. And then, so it's right there, it's featured post, and that's where you can go and get the information. So it's all right there. So if you didn't know how featured post works, then that's how they work. And I will be, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm going to tell you, I really didn't know about featured posts until I started Patch's Journey. So you learn something new every day or every year. All right, let me see. So that's Facebook. And I'm just going to see if you all have any, if you want to try to ask some questions, please feel free to. I'm going to look here if you have any, because I want to close out with something. Let's see, I'm already getting emotional about it. Yeah, so let's close out with this. I got a message last night from a follower that has really, I don't know if, what do you call it, touched me to the core, affected me to the core. But this follower wanted me to know that Patch's journey has been very much a bright spot in their world, and has brought them happiness and hope. And I get a lot of that. I do. I'm just so honored to be able to do that. And it's not me, but I mean, through Patches, that he has given me an opportunity to have a platform where we can share happiness and hope. And that's why I'm absolutely a ninja when it comes to there being positivity and goodness on the page. But what has caused me to be so taken by that particular message is that this person is an international follower who is in the middle, literally in the middle of a conflict. I'm not going to say which one, because there are lots of conflicts all over the world. There are lots of them. And there are a lot of people who aren't as lucky as us, if we're following in the United States. So not to, who aren't as lucky and who are suffering horribly loss and fear and devastation and displacement, and I was just so moved. I was so moved that they chose to reach out and to let us know that Patches is making a difference in their world, in their life. And so it got me to thinking, especially at this time of the year, but it shouldn't be this time of the year, it should be all times of the year. I just want to point out how far kindness goes. Kindness, just a little teeny measure of kindness can be gigantic in someone else's world. You're going through the shop, you're going through the grocery line, and all you're getting is a gift card. And there are people in front of you, who have 475 items in their cart, and someone lets you in, or we let the other person in. Oh, a gift card? Are you kidding me? Go. What's that going to add? 30 seconds to my wait? You go right ahead. I've got 35 things. So I just want to let you know how much I have learned about how far kindness goes through this. It should just be a no-brainer. But how remarkable and how touching and how special and how powerful it is to know that someone who is suffering in such a way as that is finding happiness and hope in their world through our happy little place where Patches and Wellesley play, and Bella does her best to engage with the boys, and we just try our best to promote happiness and peace. So go out there and just practice kindness. It feels so good. And one other thing, I swear. It's at times like this that I really miss my mother. Because do you know how when you offer to help someone and they go, oh, no, it's okay, no worries, it's okay, I got it. I want you to think twice about that. And if someone offers you help or offers you something, or a ride, or hey, do you need something at the store, or hey, can I pick up the kids from school, or just something like that. My mother had these Maggieisms, and one of my favorite Maggieisms is just say thank you. Because what we don't realize and what we don't think about when others are asking or offering to help us is the value of offering that help and then being able to fulfill that offer of help, what that does for the person who's helping. It's as much about being able to give them something to be happy about because they did something good, because they helped. So as my mother always said, just say thank you. Just say thank you with a smile and sincerity, and let people help. Because when you offer that kindness and you offer that help, you know, it feels so much better. It feels so much better when people just say thank you. And that's it. That's all. Just practice kindness. And I'm grateful that we still have a few people on to hear that. I'm a crier, and it's okay. It's okay to cry. You know, we just cry and then we pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But the emotion is happy emotion, and it's grateful emotion. And on behalf of Patches and Wellesley and Bella and I, we wish you the happiest of holidays. Whatever it is that you celebrate, may it be the greatest and best ever. Thank you so much. And I guess I have to figure out how to turn it off. Oh, it says finish. Thank you again for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Please email them to patchesjourney@gmail.com. Happy holidays, everyone.